Ladies, this is the screencast using the TI nspire to find solution points. And I'm going to go through these steps with you and make sure that you know how to find solution points on your graphing calculator. So let's get started. You should have the notes that correspond to these that I'm showing you in your packet. So go ahead and make sure you have that page in front of you. This says, now use your TI nspire to graph, find the intersection, and then make a table. So let's start with a fresh graph page on a new document. There's several ways you can do that. If you're already inside a document, you can select Control, Doc, and then select Add Graphs. Otherwise, you can go to the home page and select New Document. And then if it asks, do you want to save the unsaved document, just say no and add a graph. Number 2, to enter an equation into your calculator, the equation must first be solved for y. So this equation has already been solved for y. Remember, f of x and y are interchangeable. If this equation were not solved for y, you would need to do that first. So let's type in 3/2 x plus 4. 3/2 is a fraction, so I'm going to open a fraction template. I will select Control, Divide, and that opens a fraction template. So 3/2, and then scroll to the right, and now you'll type in x plus 4. Press Enter, and you have now graphed your first equation. How do we graph the second line in the same window? Well, let's see what it says here. It says, click the chevron in the lower left corner or press Control G to open the entry line. I don't see a chevron on my screen. You may see one on yours. So let's select Control G, and that will open this line again. Now that we've opened this line, let's enter f of x equals -1/2 x minus 4. Notice the f of x is already there. -1/2 is a fraction, so if we press Control, Divide, that will open the fraction template for us. This is -1, scroll down, 2, and then arrow to the right. And now you can type in x minus 4 and press Enter. And now you see that you have both equations graphed on the same coordinate plane. I want you to double check your equations. You can see here that equation number 1 is labeled f1 of x. Make sure that it is 3/2 x plus 4. Equation 2 is labeled f of 2 of x. Make sure that that is -1/2 x minus 4, and it is. Now that you have graphed these, let's learn how to find the point of intersection. Begin by press Menu. Here's Menu. And now you'll select Points and Lines. Now you'll notice I don't have points and lines on my screen because the version has been changed since we last used it, or since this printout was made. So perhaps you don't have points and lines either. So you would select Analyze Graph and then Intersection. And that will open the intersection tool. Okay, do you see how I have this finger pointing and it has this vertical dashed line? To use that, in this corner it says lower bound. That means I need to move this bar to the left of the intersection point. There's my intersection point. Move to the left of it and click. You'll press this button here. Now I want to move to the right. This says upper bound, so I'm going to scroll to the right so that I have this gray window and my intersection point is inside that window, and I'll press the select key again. It tells me that my intersection point is -4, -2. So that gives you your solution. Your solution is x is -4 and y is -2. Let's now talk about how to use a table to check this. Let's go to open a table, you press Control T. Control T. And now you have the graph in front of you and a table. In the left-hand column, you can see that these are the x-coordinates. We have the y-coordinates of graph 1 and y-coordinates of graph 2. So if I scroll down, when x is 1, y is 5.5 in equation 1 and negative 4 in equation 2. So how do we know when we have found our solution point? Remember that the y-coordinate of equation 1 and 2 have to match. So let's scroll down to negative 4 and see if they match like they did. Oh, negative 4, we would go up. There we go. And yes, negative 4 has an x-coordinate of negative 2 in equation 1, a y-coordinate of negative 2 in equation 1, and a y-coordinate of negative 2 in equation 2. This completes the tutorial on how to use your graphing calculator to graph an equation and find the intersection points. There is a problem that I ask you to try written at the bottom of the page. I'd like you to try to solve by graphing and by using a table. You should check your answer, which the answer is already given at the bottom of the page of notes. Please don't omit trying this problem on your calculator because you do need practice using your graphing calculator to find these intersection points. Thank you.